so subjective is simply saying this. It's saying that these qualities, the qualities that are of the object, are these things like hardness and softness and height and the color red, whatever you want to call it. But things like value judgments can only be bestowed by a subject who is contemplating the object. So if I see two girls hugging, I'm watching a bunch of atoms colliding, any number of whatever you want to say it is. And I don't believe that. And if I am subjective, I don't believe that there's anything good about that without me looking at it and saying that is good. And for them,
so cutting to the chase here, you would say that there's nothing good in and of itself.
Right.
Do you believe that? I mean, if there's nothing good in and of itself, do you believe there's anything bad in and of itself?
No.
Who then? I mean, do you believe that there is a such thing as good and bad? I mean, do you believe that?
Absolutely. Subjective. If I say that something is subjective, I don't mean that it doesn't exist. I just mean that it exists, or I guess through a different perspective.
Okay. So.
Yes.
So who? Okay. So you are the one. Are you the final arbiter that makes that decision?
No, I'm not the final. I make the final. I'm the final arbiter for myself.
For yourself. Is it just basically just you? I mean, is it atomistic?
And at your will, you can change your mind.
I mean, once again, it's simply that qualities have to be contemplated, have to be judged by some kind of agent. In other words, it doesn't have to be an individual.
Oh yeah.
Human
Okay.
society. It could be society. It could be a group. It could be a nation. It could be a tribe. Individuals. It doesn't. They find their own ways to determine, and that's what the question was: determine normative ethics.
Okay, so we can recognize something. Now, you brought up the painting. Now, would you consider the rape of a woman to be in and of itself no different than maybe looking at the Mona Lisa?
Absolutely, in and of itself.
Oh, in and of itself, there's absolutely no ethical difference between the raping of a woman and a painting of the Mona Lisa.
I mean, here, I think once again, I don't believe there's a difference. But let me put this in a different frame, and let me give you a different perspective on this.
Sure.
As this religious person, I put the question to you. Do you say that a lady with a bunch of cats living alone, scratching and making music from nails on a chalkboard, her nails on a chalkboard, is no better in and of itself, no better than Beethoven's Ninth Symphony?
Oh no, I believe that. I believe in and of itself. See, I believe in inherent. I believe that there is a standard of beauty. I'm not one who just simply says beauty in the eyes of the beholder. I believe that because I believe in a God of order and design and everything else, that ultimately influences it. But when we're talking here about ethics and different things, let me get back to this here. What then? Okay, it is the means that people can use. I mean, how if it all boils down to you, or me, or the guy raping somebody, or a guy walking down the street, popping a cap in anyone with blonde hair and brown eyes.
It's social aspects of what you're looking at.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yeah. Oh no, go ahead.
What do you mean by? I'm just trying to find some clarity. What do you mean by if it all boils down to?
Well, no. What I'm saying is that if what it is you are the one, okay, and that really that in and of itself isn't good or bad, then how are we to make any judgment whatsoever on anything? And how is our judgment binding?
Once again, we make, you asked how we make judgment, and that's,
sure.
I think that question answers itself. We make judgment.
Okay.
We make, for instance.
So you do, but I know you do. We've established that.
Even you. Oh,
I know. Yeah. As individuals, we've established this. I'm talking on. Let's take it one level higher. Okay. Is that what then do we do? How is it that we come about if I say, okay, well, I personally think rape is wrong, and you think rape is wrong, or let's say you don't. I mean, how do we then determine, let's even say socially, that rape is wrong? How do we do that?
Cues?
I mean, once again, different societies do it different ways. Well, in one example, we have again, America, we have England, we have France.
Sure.
We have any number
Right.
of other countries, and they've
Yes.
found their own, some through democracy, some through, it's,
But they all have the same
your
idea.
question is how do we determine?
Okay.
And if you want me to go ahead and give you like a rundown of the
Oh no.
Constitution,
I'm asking because see here's the problem. If we say that it's social, was Martin Luther King Jr. was he right or wrong in what he stood for? Was he
No.
was he morally no? Was he morally right or wrong?
Oh, you're asking?
It's a question. Yes. Was he morally right or wrong to stand against segregation?
Again, he's objectively no more right or wrong than males are objectively better than or worse than based
So
on...
then how do we decide then? On what basis then would we decide which one's
There is
better?
no-
I mean,
That's what I'm saying.
Societal cues.
so pure,
No, we-
pure democracy.
Yeah.
No, democracy isn't. Once again, what you're doing is you're saying, well, if there is no subjective, then what is? If there is no objective standard, then what is the standard? And I'm telling you that the nature of subjectivity is that we find our own standards.
Okay,
And those standards in and of themselves-
so then, on what authority should I be penalized for going and beating a autistic kid in the face with a baseball bat?
Because that's the way that our society works.
Oh, okay. So an arbitrary society that made up subjective opinions on this is going to enforce it. In other words, let's translate this, Bo. It's translated into what's called might is right. That's exactly what it is. You believe in might
You know why
is
that's
right.
a straw man, though?
Oh no, not at all. It's not a straw man. No, it's not.
Well,
Because go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Okay, here's why. Is because if you sit there and say, well, but society has said so. Well, what is society? Society is made up of a bunch of individuals making subjective determinations on individual events. So if I sit there and I bash an autistic kid in the face with a baseball bat, and society tells me that that's absolutely wrong to do that, then what you basically said is that, once again, mob rule, because the majority opinion of subjective individuals is what trumps, and the majority just happens to have the power, therefore might is right. So we have mob rule, which is what I said earlier, and we are democracy here, okay, the 50% plus one, and we also have might is right. In both instances, that is your at least on a social level, that is your moral standard, is might is right and mob rule.
Okay, hang on. Here's why I made the claim that what you said was a straw man. You literally translated in one fell swoop. You literally translated from you made the equivalent of who has the authority to who is right. Might has the authority. I mean, no one's going to question that if America wanted to, they could bomb the entire world. America, and indeed a lot of other countries could do that too. You're saying that whoever has the authority is whoever is right, and I never said that. Right is an objective statement. What you're trying to do
Right is objective. Right is an objective statement.
If you say, well, if you can show me how it's.
Well, no. Is that what you just said, or did I misunderstand you? I'm not attacking. I'm simply asking. What's that?
I didn't hear what you just said.
Okay. Listen. If we have a bunch of individuals, and
Right.
these individuals make individual judgments on their own, you make a judgment, I make a judgment. We both see something that we would typically say that's probably bad. I don't know many people that say that, hey, let's have a day celebrating beating autistic kids with baseball bats. I don't know many who would actually go that far, which is extremely coincidental. But if we sit there and say that you make a judgment, I make a judgment, we have society as a whole, and we make these judgments, right? Then and we say, well, this is what's right, and this should be done. And so if I break that norm, if I go out and I do that, I'm going to be punished. Is it right that I'm punished?
Once again, it's like you're saying you're bestowing, you're asking if there's a quality to an action, and I'm saying that I personally believe that it is, and that is what subjective is.
Okay, so in other words, there is really no. Is there a reason then? I mean, I'm trying to grasp this because, to be honest, the sociological ramifications of what you believe, I think, would be absolutely devastating. I think that if we really believed that, and if we really went into what you're claiming, and we applied that into law, I think it'd be downright dangerous.